Once you buy an Apple product, something quietly begins. You don't notice it at first. It feels normal, innocent. But slowly, your phone becomes a getaway. A getaway to the Mac, to the watch, to the AirPods. And without even realizing it, your digital life starts orbiting around one company. Let me ask you one question. When was the last time you seriously considered switching away from Apple? Exactly. This is the system behind. And today, we are uncovering how Apple keeps you forever. One tiny, invisible decision at a time. Apple doesn't compete on specs. Apple competes on friction. Or better, the absence of it. Copy on your iPhone. Paste with your Mac. Open your AirPods. Already connected. Lost your device. iCloud knows exactly where it is. Unlock your laptop with your watch. Even before you even sit down, every interaction is engineered to feel like a warm welcome. Now think about this. When something is perfect, do you ever want to leave it? No. The average Apple customer now owns almost 3 devices. Not because they were forced, but because every new device enhances the value of the others. Experts describe this as the ecosystem effect, while Apple describes it as the Tuesday. And here's the thing nobody notices. When a product is part of the system, it stops being a gadget. It becomes a node, a connection point. Removing one breaks the whole chain. Let's get psychological for a moment. Human beings are wired to seek predictability, consistency, low mental effort. An Apple ecosystem is essentially a comfort drug. Everything is familiar, warm, rounded, silent. Even the animations are carefully tuned to reduce cognitive stress. That tiny bounce, that gentle fade, that's not design, that's behavioral conditioning. Each smooth experience triggers a micro reward in your brain, a hit of dopamine, and your brain remembers, this feels good, stay here. Now ask yourself, how often do you choose comfort over freedom? More often than you think. This timeline isn't a product list, it's a strategy map. Every item isn't a device, it's a new lock on the door. The iPhone brings you in, AirPods seal the deal. The watch keeps you tracking your health. And services. Services glue everything together. Every step. Less friction to stay, more friction to leave. Now, money. Let's talk about how Apple makes you think like you're choosing when you're really being guided. Apple designs lineups like psychological puzzles. There is always a cheaper model, but never quite satisfying. There's always an expensive one, too high to justify. And then the perfect middle option appears. Balanced, reasonable, the smart choice. Except it's rarely the smart choice. It's the decoy effect, product placement designed to manipulate your decision. Let me ask you, did you really need the Pro? Or did Apple make the non Pro feel insufficient? You know the answer, come on now. Year after year, the Pro models dominate sales. Not because they are the best value, but because Apple pricing structure gently nudges you toward them. And once you've paid $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, switching brands later feels like burning money. This is the sunk cost trap. Once you've climbed high enough, the idea of jumping off becomes unthinkable. The reality is, Apple has something nobody else fully has: total control. The hardware, the software, the chips, the ecosystem, even the apps and the payment system. When the M1 chip dropped, the world realized something. Apple wasn't just catching up, it was playing a different game. The competitors add specs, Apple adds efficiency. Competitors add features, Apple adds systems. This is why an iPhone with fewer gigabytes of RAM can outperform phones with double the numbers, because Apple isn't selling parts, it's selling integration. And here's the quiet revolution: services, iCloud, Apple Music, Apple Arcade, Apple TV Plus, Fitness Plus. These aren't extras, they're glue, digital cement. Devices bring you in, services keep you inside. Together, they create a self sustaining loop that makes Apple almost impossible to leave. And this loop is where the real magic happens. Apple made $383 billion last year. But here's the twist: it's not growing by finding new customers, it's growing by finding new ways to monetize the same customer. You don't buy an iPhone, you buy iCloud, Apple Music, AirPods, AppleCare, accessories, apps, subscriptions, upgrades. It's a ladder with infinite steps, and every step is designed not to feel like a purchase, but like a progress. And when something feels like a progress, you rarely question the price. This curve isn't accidental, it's engineered. Every device, every cable, every detail is part of a long-term plan. Upgrade you forever. Finally, the emotional core, the narrative, the myth. Apple doesn't sell technology, it sells identity. It sells the idea that by using its product, you're part of something bigger, more creative, more future facing, more you, but better. Why do Apple stores look like art museums? Why do their ads look like short films? Why are their keynote events treated like cultural moments? Because Apple isn't selling what something does, it's selling what it means. And meaning is the most powerful locking mechanism in the world. So, how does Apple keep you forever? By turning devices into connections, connections into comfort, comfort into loyalty, and loyalty into a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem you never want to leave. This was the system behind, and if you open your eyes, subscribe, because next time we'll uncover another system shaping our world. Bye.